G'day, Simon here, Explosive Action. We're going to go on the train, go check out some record shops, check out some video shops. Let's get into it. And as usual, we start our journey on the train. First stop today will be Utopia Records. Going to take a look at some of the sale items that have come out. Here we are walking down the stairs into the dungeon that is Utopia. Been around since 1978, but not in this location. A lot of really cool second-hand LPs have come in lately. Some are outside of the price I would like to pay. But here's a Light Force. This is pre-mortification thrash. Original pressing, Iron Maiden, made in Japan. All original pressings up here. Got some Sirith Ungol. Bit pricey. Vicious Rumours, Soldiers of the Night. Fantastic album. Trash, watch out. Slayers Haunting the Chapel. Satan, Caught in the Act, original press, quite expensive. Merciful Fate, Manowar, some more Lizzie Borden. Taking through the bins, we've got Accept, Metal Heart, Axe Victims, which is a better cover than it is music, Crimson Glory, Dio, Last in Line, Fist, Back with a Vengeance, and some Flotsam and Jetsam. Whole bunch of Judas Priest original pressings, most of them Australian editions have come in. Cool to see. Unleashed in the East is probably my favourite. The Nuclear Assault, but this one's been here for some time, just an EP. This Possessed, very, very tempted, gatefold edition. Darkwoods My Betrothed on CD, Enslaved, Isengard, Primordial, all original pressings. Conqueror, Laceration Mantra, that's post-Misery, Dark Throne, a Satyricon Shadow Throne original press, and Soulfold, Linear Scaffold. Carnage Dark Recollections, great album. This is the collection by Earache Records, reissued some time ago. Dismember, one of my favourite albums of all time. Phaseless Burial, Speciation, great modern album. This groin churn has got to be in every used bin I ever see, and the fantastic Inverloch. Comic Kingdom has seen many better days, been long out of business. It's a shame that the shop no longer exists. You can still see some things on the walls inside. And just wouldn't that be the strangest thing? Into the pawnbroker now. Very rarely go in here. What do we have here? Knight of the Round Table, complete with sword. I don't know who would buy that for their cave. Amongst the very generic DVDs and Blu-rays, there's this copy of Busting, a Kino Lorber disc. Very cool. Time to get a Thai massage, by which I mean, let's go to Top 10 Audiophile Sound and Movie to get some films. It's a fun shop. Lots of new releases come in, direct imports from overseas. You never know what you're going to find. And then I found Golden Needles. It's got Jim Kelly in it. It's got to be a good movie. Don't think you could make this movie these days. What a title. Flipping through some of the really old German hard boxes, they've been in here for quite some time. Great to see the covers. These are all Western films. Not entirely sure if all of them are even English friendly. The Laserdiscs here haven't changed in a while, but I do like flicking through. You never know if somebody has sold some more Laserdiscs to this shop, so it's worth taking a look at. But unfortunately, again, it is just the same old Laserdiscs that have been here for many years. And I mentioned to the shopkeep that it was my birthday on Friday, so she goes to the cupboard and just brings out a bottle of wine for me. Into Egg Records now. I don't usually find anything interesting here, but let's go through the metal section like we usually do. It's the same records, I swear, they never change. There mustn't be much call for metal vinyl in Egg Records. I guess they figure people just go to Repressed or Utopia. Taking a look at the CDs, and I did spy a few interesting things. Morbid Angel Heretic. I've been meaning to get this one for some time. I know it's not their best, but the price is right. And Sodom, Better Off Dead. Bit of a middle album that I'm missing. There's a whole bunch of sentenced albums here. Not the ones I'm particularly interested in. I've got the albums that I care about. But if you like more modern sentenced, there's plenty at Egg Records right now. Check out this opprobrium. Very slim pack edition there. When I took the CDs to the counter, the salesman asked if I wanted to see some that were out the back. Yes! Yes, I did! So here are the 4 boxes that he let me go through before they were even priced. We came to a good arrangement on prices and I picked up a few that I'll show at the end of this video. Into Papa Disco now. I always like going in here and having a chat, seeing what albums I can pick up. I won't flip through the LPs this time, but I am listening to a copy of War and Pain by Voivod. It's an original press, but it's seen better days. Maybe next time. This Ossian album was pretty cool, Russian heavy metal. Check out the Fonz on the back. Very 80s. But this Stratson, this was quite special, and it's quite a rare album. Into repressed records now. The records haven't changed here in some time, but the shop certainly has. All of the books and the DVDs are now gone to make room for more music, which makes sense being a record store. We've been through these metal LPs many times, and they haven't changed. Not that much. So, we're going to play it at triple speed. That Gold Gotham Remains is a belter of an album. Swedish Metal Comp and Mercy reissue. Very nice Swedish heavy metal there. Into the metal CDs, again we'll flick through it pretty quickly. Click on. If there's anything you want to see, just pause the video and take a look. Like this Lich King. I did say if I saw it here next time I would pick it up, and I saw it here, so I'm picking it up. Into the 7 inches. Meth Leopard, what a great name for a band. This Abomination Azoth 7 inch doesn't have a cover. Intriguing. Mammoth Grinder, another great name for a band. That Septage is an absolute belter of an EP. So is the De-Acquisitor in the Crypt. Going into Resist Records now. I've never shown this one on video. It's more of a punk shop, but they do have a lot of death metal and thrash, thrashcore, hardcore, that kind of stuff. So I thought I would take a look today. It's quite a big warehouse, as you can see. Plenty of records and CDs. It's a little out of the way, so I don't go here very often. And here's the Chat's new album, one of Australia's latest and greatest exports. You do wonder why they bothered censoring that sticker though. This Deathgrave looked pretty interesting. Turns out it's sort of a death metal / hardcore hybrid band. It's out on Tank Crimes and it didn't sound too bad. And this Excel thrash reissue. Really interesting to see that here. This Evil is a really good album too. Foreseen, fantastic album. This Fuming Mouth had some great Lewandowski artwork. Just some other really cool things I've found here. Don't know who this band are, but I also like the art on those. Same with this Hessian. Imperial Triumphant, that one's for Ben. Of course there's a bunch of Napalm Death. Probably the most that I've seen in a shop in some time. And then there's Napalm Christ. I gave it a listen and it sounds pretty crusty. In a good way. Nomaz, one of the newer grind bands. And Nomads, an older grind crust band. Septic Death from 1986. And now to satiate my hunger with some cheeky chicken. So before I show you the things that I picked up today, let's open the mail together. I don't think I've actually done that in a very, very long time. So I've got 2 things that did come in the mail today. I've only cut them open. I haven't looked inside. pretty sure I know what they are though. So the first one here, it's clearly a CD in a CD mailer, and I've cracked it open to remove the tape. We take a look inside, and yes, it is what I thought it was. It's Cauldron Black Ram CD. I needed to get more from these guys. I've only got one album, and this one is Slubber. Oh, they've got such the silliest names. Slubberdigullion. Such a silly name. Australian band out of South Australia, and they play a very Australian sounding, very raw, sort of heavy death metal. Like it's heavy metal influenced death metal, I suppose. Like so many of the Adelaide bands have this sound. Cauldron Black Ram is no difference. Just they're really, really good, and I'm kind of late to the party on these ones. This is a band that have been, talked about for 15 years, if not longer. Yeah, I don't know. I just missed them at the time, so I'm just playing catch up. There's the back of it. This one's out on Weird Truth Productions in Japan. I got a Japanese edition. Didn't realize that was happening. No idea if there's any other editions. There's the disc. Looks almost new. Yep, pretty shiny. So there you go. Another one from this band. Really cool. Happy to have that. Take a look in the second package. Bit bulkier. And, fabric. But, okay, also some paper. Yes, right. This is Devoured Death Magazine, volume number 3. I've talked about this. I've shown issue number 2 before. And this is a really cool, very much a fanzine put together by, the name is here on the back, Stephen Hall. I think it's Hall, or is it Hull? Stephen. Anyway, it's Stephen, formerly of this band, Incabulous, who have some very exciting things coming out soon, as you may be able to tell there from the CD and shirt, which is, we'll get to that when that CD is unleashed on the world. But yes, issue number 3 of the zine he sent my way. We've got, according to the cover, we've got Abhorrency, Azathoth, Backyard Mortuary, cool old Aussie band, Blasphematory, Destructor, Excarnated Entity, Gozada out of Russia, great band, Chasmata, Morbid Messiah, Puncture Wound, their Australian band, Rotten Tomb. So that's probably interviews. We've got, it's very, very much DIY, like done in the old typewriter kind of layouts. We've got some, interviews. Look at the way it's put together. It's like photocopied stuff, assembled on the photocopier. Really, really nice. This will be good fun to read through. Lots of interviews in here. And, that's just the middle of the magazine. This is chockers. So you can see it's just sort of A4 and that's been stapled and put together. And and they add on the back there for some exciting stuff come out of Incabulous. So very, very cool. Got to really enjoy reading through this one. It's got page numbers, about 80 pages, 80 page zine. So there is a website for this. I will link it in the description for how you'll be able to get copies of this. Presumably issue 3 is now out. So yeah, go pick up a copy. It's a really good fun zine. But what else do we have in here? This is looking very much like a shirt to me. Very cool. That feels like there's something in the middle. Aha! We have, sick. That is really cool. Incabulous pin. Check that out. That's awesome. Fantastic. Really, really dig that pin. That's really, really nice. Really, really nice. And we've got some flyers there for the zine. There you go. So, devoured.death79@gmail.com. You can send an email there. Or just go to devoureddeathzine.com for details. So, I got plenty of these to hand out. I will leave them at train stations. That's what I'm going to do with that. And here we appear to have a shirt, and there we go. It's the one from the back of the magazine. Very, very nice. Incabulous. That's fantastic. And that is some awesome, awesome artwork there. That is really cool. Hold on, better. There we go. That's some nice stuff. That's really cool. Green. That art. What do we say at the bottom there? Exhumed Abominations, which I believe is the name of, let's refer to the back, of the CD that's coming out. So that is a bunch of compilation, basically, of all their stuff that they've done, which was 2 demos and an EP. So I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be on there. Maybe more, I don't know. But that is a really sick shirt. Nothing on the back. Fantastic. Is it in my size? It is in my size. Hurrah. As I continue to stall for time before showing you the stuff that I picked up today, I'm going to show you the things that I picked up on the weekend. I went and visited the folks. It's my birthday on this Friday, so I went down. They live down the coast. I went and said hello to my mum and dad. Took the kid down, took the wife down. We had a nice day. And one thing I've never mentioned before, my mum's a metal mum. It's really cool. She's 76. We're on pretty different wavelengths. She's very much into the hair metal bands, Poison, Rat, and all that kind of stuff. But there are some points where we cross over. And this band I have shown a release of before, and I really liked it. And I mentioned to her that I started to like this band. She's like, I've got one of their albums. You can have it. I'm talking about Lizzie Borden with the first one, Love You to Pieces. She just gave me her copy of this. So I don't know how many other people can say that their 76-year-old mum gave them a copy of a Lizzie Borden debut album out on Road Racer. No, it's Roadrunner, out on Roadrunner Records, OG Press. I mean, she likes the band, but, she likes me more, I suppose. So gave me a copy of this one. She's still got a couple of CDs of the band, and she prefers playing CDs anyway. So there you go. This is their first album. I listened to it once through so far. Gave it a clean, gave it a play. I like it. It's not as heavy as the follow-up album. I think that follow-up album, which I've shown before, is a stronger one, but this is still a good album. It's fun, just straight up heavy metal, just not as heavy as where they went to with the second album. But price was right, and the thought was very much appreciated. So cheers, Mum. As well as that, I mentioned to her the Merciful Metal video recently, where he showed the Power Metal OG Press LP that he picked up, and that was very, very cool to see. That is an incredibly rare record, and out of all the Glam Terror era Pantera albums, it's the best. It's the one that was done just before Cowboys from Hell. It's speed metal, but it's got the guitar tone of Cowboys from Hell, so it doesn't quite have the the Texan meathead Pantera sound yet. It's just speed metal, teensy little bit of glam still in there. Phil's on the vocals, guitar tone sounds great. It's a good, fun album. I mentioned that to her, and she's like, oh, I've got a couple of their CDs, you can have them too. I thought about it because those CDs are nearly as rare as the records. What she had, which is probably rare now too, are this one, Power Metal, with Villain, and this one, which is I Am the Night, and Projects in the Jungle. These are Italian bootleg CDs from 1993. So, they're not legit, but even that they're bootlegs, they're like 30 years old now. So, and they're fine. They sound fine. The treble's a bit high on this one. This one sounds fine. But did I mention they're free and that they're from my mum? And I'm not going to likely fall across that LP anytime soon. But anyway, look at the guys on that cover. Look at that. Just, you can see why people call them Glam Terror and why the band kind of wanted to forget that this and the previous 3 albums existed. It all started with the Cowboys. That's where we started. That's our first band. That's our debut. Nah, there you go. And it's got the split. This bootleg is sort of split with a band called Villian? What? Villain. I knew it was Villain. And it's a bootleg. It's typo. They're Villian with their Time Will Tell. I think it's EP. I think it's an EP. Maybe it's an album. No, it's an EP. It's only got 7 tracks. That was fine. It's just straight ahead heavy metal. I quite like that. But the power metal side is good. And this is the one before it, I Am the Night, with the one before that, Projects in the Jungle. The further back you go, the more ridiculously hair the band really got. So I like them less and less as you go backwards. This one's okay. Projects is starting to get a bit rough. And she didn't have the first one, which was, I can't remember the name of it. It's got the stupid panther on there, and it's got something else as like another EP, I think, as a B-side. She didn't have that, so that's fine. But like, this is out on Reborn Classics, complete bootlegs, like I said, but bootlegs from 1992 and 1993. They're probably rare as hen's teeth anyway. So there you go. I got a couple of Glam Terror CDs as well. Okay, that's enough stalling for time. We're going to kick into the update of the things I picked up today. We'll take a look at the first Blu-rays. I got 2 movies while I was out and about today, and everything else is music. So the first one I got, this is the one I got from that random pawn shop that I'm very, very thankful I decided to walk into. I don't know why I walked into it. It didn't have anything in the window. I just thought, oh look, I'll go and have a look. Oh, here's the Blu-rays, and as you can see in the video, it was all rubbish. And then this thing, Busting, starring Elliot Gould and Robert Blake. It's a Kino. Why is a Region A Kino sitting around in an Australian pawnbroker for $3? Which means somebody sold it to them for probably 40 cents at best. There you go. I don't know much about this film at all. It's 1973. Written and directed by Peter Hyams. So actually, there you go. It's a Peter Hyams film. I'm in for a good time. I can't argue with that. Certainly for $3 whole. Yep. There you go. Starring Elliot Gould, Robert Blake, and Alan Garfield. Is it Garfield? It is Garfield. I'm very tired. Produced by Irwin Winkler. So there you go. I don't know anything about this film aside from those things that I've just mentioned, which means I now know some things about this film. Plenty of action in this fast-paced thriller marked for the impressive debut of writer and director Peter Hyams, his debut film. Then he went on to do Capricorn 1, Outland, and Running Scared. This is great. What a great pickup for $3. Kino in a pawnbroker. Amazing. Happy with that. And this one that I picked up in Top 10, which is the thing I paid for, and the bottle of wine was the freebie. It gets weirder each time I go in that shop. But I appreciate it. It's good fun. Golden Needles. Again, this is another one I'm going in kind of blind, but it's a newer Kino, and it was there and sealed and slipcased. It's Joe Don Baker, it's Jim Kelly, so that's a win. But it is directed by Robert Klaus, the sensational director of Enter the Dragon, Darker Than Amber, Game of Death, Force 5, and Jim Carter. So, I mean, look at the size of Jim Kelly's hair. Look at that fro. Of course, this is going to be good. Golden Needles. We've got Elizabeth Ashley, Anne Southern, and Burgess Meredith. But yeah, Jim Kelly, Joe Don Baker. Great. I love the cover too. There's the alternate artwork there, with the presumably an original poster. So yeah, nice slip. So this was a nice slip that's impossible to get on from the top. There you go. This was a nice pickup there. With the way that the Australian dollar is fluctuating at the moment, to buy something like this from an import store like Top 10 was only $5 more than Amazon, and I have it now. So I like to do that every now and then. 1974 film, Orion Pictures. There you go. Read a bit more about it. The Legend of the Golden Statue, which contains 7 youth-restoring acupuncture needles. This gets better and better. Promises the owner health and incredible vigor, but can also deliver a painful death. Joe Don Baker and Elizabeth Ashley, Anne Southern, Roy Chiao from Bloodsport, Francis Fong from Hellfighters, and martial arts legend Jim Kelly from Black Belt Jones. 7 desperate people on one desperate chase to find the golden needles. Wow, that's going to be great. Of course it's going to be great. Classic 70s Jim Kelly. Golden Needles, very happy with that one. Alright, into the CDs now. The first one here's the one I got from Repressed. As I said, if I saw it here next time, I was going to pick it up. It was here next time. Surprised nobody picked it up in the last, whatever it was, 8 weeks since I've been in this shop. This is The Lich King, Born of the Bomb. I had a Lich King, I think it might have been their debut album many years ago. I didn't mind it, but I think the vocals were pretty rubbishy at the time. This one sounds better. This is far more getting into the kind of thrash that I like. They're often thrown around as being a party thrash, pizza thrash band, but I mean, there's a track on here called Combat Mosh. You got word mosh in your song title, and it's, you know, surfboards and things. It's, you know where it's going. But, you know, there's a song here about devastation. We came to conquer. All hail, Axe Cop, Agents of Steel, which I think is a cover. And Lich King 4, Born of the Bomb, which has got somebody from Morbid Saint on it. So there you go, Lich King, Born of the Bomb. Haven't given it a listen yet. Listened to it a little bit online when I first looked at it in the shop and decided not to get it at the time. But yeah, I got it this time. Lich King, Born of the Bomb. Alright, the rest of the CDs all came from Egg Records, which is a real surprise to me because I've not picked up anything in that shop in quite some time. Turns out there's been a bit of a metal dump, and that's always a good thing. So the first two are the ones that I picked up off the shelves. Bit of a stocking filler, this one. I actually don't mind this album, I just never picked it up. It is far better, of course, than the album that came after it, but it's not as good as any of the ones that came before it. Morbid Angel, Heretic. I think it's right for reconsideration from my point of view anyway. And the price was right on this thing. So yeah, the H album includes an 18-track bonus levels disc. That's got Trey's fingerprints all over it, bonus levels. He's such a gamer. So there you go. This is the last one with Pete Sandoval on drums as well before he flew the coop and found Jeebus. But there you go. Bonus levels. I don't know what I'm going to get on that. I have a vague recollection that it was just the solos or something like that. It's just guitar wankery. I don't think it's new songs or anything like that. I wonder if I'm correct. You know, there's the booklet. So look, it's not too bad. The complaint that this had at the time was that it was just kind of boring and bland. But I think I might enjoy it a lot more this time. And yeah, you know, time heals all wounds unless you are illid divide my anus, or whatever that thing was called. Alright, the next one I picked up was also a stocking filler. This is the kind of thing that I didn't think I ever was going to get. I didn't know this one too much. I liked the albums all before it, and I liked the album after it. The fact that I had this one missing kind of bugged me. And it's not a bad album. I listened to it in the shop and went, yeah, that's actually pretty good. So, you know, I will listen to this more, and I reckon I'll probably enjoy it a lot more than I'm talking about. Better Off Dead by Sodom. So this is the what is this? Fifth album, fourth album. I can't quite remember whereabouts this fits, but it's somewhere down the track a little bit. Came out in 1990. Tapping the Vein is the one that came after it, and that's a sledgehammer of an album. This one's a bit more pulled back, a bit more restrained. I think this one gets forgotten about quite a bit. So yeah, I mean, I've kind of forgotten about it as well. But happy to pick it up. It appears to be an original Steam Hammer press. There's the disc there. Booklet. So yeah, cool. Sodom album I didn't have. Gotta love Sodom. Better Off Dead. Very happy with that. And these next four, so you saw those boxes that I was digging through. It very much pays when you're in a shop, and you know, you get a bit of a rapport with the shop owner, and you're talking about CDs and things, and you go up to the counter and you're wearing a metal shirt and you're handing metal. Of course, you'll end up having a conversation that's along the lines of, do you have any more? But I was surprised because he asked me, do you want to see some that I've got out back? I went, yes I do. And he came out with those 4 boxes, and apparently that's just the tip of the iceberg, and there's more to come. So I was very happy to get the eagle-eye view of that. I picked out these 4. I've recased 2 of them because they were just shocking condition. This was the absolute pick for me. I've been after this one for ages. Confessor, Condemned, awesome. So happy to pick this one up. This is the original Relativity earache, so that would be the American press, but it's got Relativity on it. Yes, made in the USA. So yeah, this is one of the early thrash, weird thrash bands from Earache. What mosh is this? We don't get a mosh on this because it's the Relativity, but it's going to be an early one. 1991. Yeah, I'm just stoked to have this. Really, really good. I think it might be kind of challenging to find as well. So there you go. There's the inside. All the conditions of these things are really fine. There was a few I was going through in that box were a bit rubbishy, and there was a lot of power metal in there, very much, you know, the Euro, like 2005 era power metal. Just, yeah, too much of that. There was some Poison and some glam stuff in there, and then randomly there was just like, there was some Deicide OGs in there. I already have them. I'm going to leave them for the next person. There was a Napalm Death Utopia Banished in there, original press. I've already got it. Again, leave it for the next person. But do not have this Confessor. Very happy to go that one. And this next one, I haven't listened to a single lick of this before. I just figured I'm going to get it. This had the worst case. It was actually snapped and missing half the plastic, so he knocked the price down, even though I was, you know, very happy to rehome it. I've got 50 brand new cases in the cupboard. But this band is the one that I've never really given much time to. Their debut is the one that everybody goes on about. The band I'm talking about is Candlemass. This is, I think, their third album, Ancient Dreams. Never heard a note of this before, didn't listen to it in the shop or anything. It was just there in this pile of metal. It was an OG press, an Active Records release. Got the Epicus Doomicus Metallicus cover image there. I really don't know much about this band at all, except for Messiah's there on vocals. I've only ever really listened to the song that's in the video clip, that has Dead in the background. That's why I listened to it. Like, hey, it's got Dead in the background there from Mayhem, which is not why you listen to Candlemass. But look, I missed lots of stuff, you know, a lot of 80s things I missed. And yeah, traditional doom metal was not on my radar when I was getting into metal at all. But coming around to a lot of this stuff now, so I'm going to enjoy, hopefully, this one. Ancient Dreams. Let me know what you think of this album, how it compares to Epicus Doomicus, because I have no experience with this band. Yeah, very nice. Active Records press. The next two CDs, these really were, I'm just going to get them back in the collection. I always kind of liked these ones. I think the first album particularly was really quite good. I let them go in a purge many years ago, and this was the kind of thing I've been telling myself for ages. If I see them and they're the original presses in the wild and they're cheap, I'll get them back. Talking about Cradle of Filth, Principle of Evil Made Flesh. This is the Australian original one out on Modern Invasion. So we licensed and made our own copy of this back in whatever the hell year this was, I don't remember anymore, like 95. Not written on the back. Yeah, it's completely legit. We just authorized, we got an authorized repress out here. We did that for a lot of things back in the day. So yeah, you all know this album. But yeah, there's the band. There's Danny there on the end. Nick Barker looking very, why am I here? And then a bunch of other people that came and went over the years. It's pretty much just Danny and the Filths these days. But yeah, cool to have this one back. And didn't have Vampire, but they did have Dusk in Her Embrace. Every person's got this album in their collection. I kind of felt like I should have it back as well. When I first had this, which was when it came out, so 96, so I guess that was probably 94. The screams, Danny's screams on this particular album were just too much for my young years. They're glass shattering all the time. It never stops. But yeah, now I've listened to 5 million black metal bands. It comes with the territory. So I'm fine. It's great. I will listen to this one again. And I remember so many of these songs being good. Heaven Torn Asunder, I remember being a good track. Obviously the title track. Yeah, so there you go. I've got Cradle of Filth back in the collection. If I can get Vampire, I'd be happy with that, and that's kind of where I would stop. I think they're the ones that I would like to get. So there you go, Dusk in Her Embrace, Cradle of Filth. The last thing I'm going to show is the one record that I picked up. I only got the one record today, quite restrained, but having said that, I did push the boat out a little bit for this record, so it all evens itself out. Why have quantity when you can have quality? I picked up the Stratson album, Alf. OUF, Alf Metal, of Metal, I don't know. It's French, Stratton, they're from France. This album came out in 1985, traditional heavy metal for fans of sortilege and things like that. And this is really good. I listened to it in the shop. I had heard it before, I think, and I liked it, but I listened to it more in the shop and just sampled some of the tracks. It's just really good French heavy metal. It's got balls to it. I love the cover on it too. It's very, very mid-80s. And so, like I said, I did have to push the boat out a bit. This is the Devil's Record Press. Now, this band, as far as I can tell, did this, and that's it. And I'm not even sure if there is a repress. This could be the thing you have to get if you want to listen to this album. Yeah, I mean, it's done now. I've paid the money. And we'll take a quick look in here. If there was an inner lyric, I don't have it. All you have is the record. But and I need to clean it. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. There you go. Stratton Alf Metal. And the all-important Devil's Records little middle label there. Really, really nice. And yeah, happy to have it. I definitely call that a birthday present to myself there. Stratton Alf Metal, French heavy metal. I'm wondering if Mr. Merciful Metal is either nodding in approval right now or if he's jealous. I kind of hope he's jealous. Stratton Alf Metal. And that's my pickups today. Hope you enjoyed coming along with me on my tour of the city. And yeah, if you did, please like, subscribe, check out this thing, and check out this thing. See you next time.